Today in the battle arena, we've got Hulk going up against Thor. Only thing is, it's the most powerful versions of the characters. Space Punisher Hulk is going up against Rune King Thor. So who's coming out on top here? Let's find out. Bruce Banner was a renowned scientist who, testing his unusual theories on gamma rays, was transformed into a murderous monster. Now, Space Punisher Hulk is from Marvel 12091 and really doesn't scale to the Earth 616 Hulk at all. Space Punisher Hulk is something else altogether. For starters, Hulk possesses 4 arms instead of just 2, and is actually a distinct and separate being from Bruce Banner, unlike the normal 616 Hulk. Banner is actually trapped inside of Space Punisher Hulk's body. So Hulk was actually able to go in and rip open his chest, exposing Bruce Banner. When Banner died, it didn't phase the Hulk at all. Space Punisher Hulk is also insanely powerful and completely and utterly savage. I mean, really, this guy is so bloodthirsty. He effortlessly broke the leader's back and murdered the Fantastic Four, ripping off one of the Thing's arms and beating Human Torch with it. He brutally murdered a squad of Hulkbusters, strangling Doc Samson with his own hair, and went on to rip off Deadpool's head and bite Sabretooth in half, killing both of them. Now, you might be thinking, well, that doesn't really sound like anything a bloodthirsty, normal Hulk wouldn't be able to do, so what makes Space Punisher Hulk so powerful? Well, you just wait, because his best feat is yet to come. You see, Hulk was able to slaughter 6 Watchers like they were cattle, punching through one Watcher's chest, killing 2 of them by slamming their heads together, and then choking out the remaining 3 with his 4 arms. On top of that, the military in this world considered Hulk to be the greatest threat to the universe since Galactus himself. So, that's what we've got in one corner. Space Punisher Hulk. Pretty powerful, huh? But you just wait, because entering the ring in the other corner, well, it's none other than Rune King Thor. Thor is the Asgardian god of thunder, and the son of Odin, the All-Father of Asgard, and the elder earth goddess Gaia. Combining the power of both worlds, Thor is arguably the greatest and mightiest defender of both. Armed with his powerful enchanted Hammer Mjolnir, Thor is the mightiest warrior of Asgard, a founding member of the Avengers, one of the strongest, most powerful beings on Earth. So Rune King Thor actually gets his power from 2 different sources, the Odin Force and the Norse runes. The Odin Force is an ancient magical force passed down from Odin to Thor when Thor took over as king of Asgard, giving him the power to do things like create and destroy galaxies, transport entire civilizations to other dimensions, and erect essentially impenetrable force fields. Then the Norse runes give Thor the power to see the past and the future of all things, as well as the ability to control the present, making him more or less omniscient. When Thor went through the process of gaining all of this power, he actually went even further than Odin, plucking out both of his eyes at the Well of Mimir in order to gain ultimate wisdom, and hung himself from the World Tree until he's in Death's jaws, actually evolved past death itself. Rune King Thor is so powerful that he was able to stop a charging Mangog with one hand, block all of his hits effortlessly, and even used rune magic to erase Mangog from existence. He broke down the dimensional barrier to Valhalla with one blast, allowing Surtur to march on through and he was able to rip off Loki's head and still kept his brother alive afterwards. Probably most impressively, Rune King Thor was able to destroy the World Tree and those who sit above in the shadows, ending the cycle of Ragnarok with just one mighty blow. After all of this, Thor entered a deep Odin sleep, or I guess technically Thor sleep, and became one with the universe. So who wins? Well, let's break it down. Now, Hulk versus Thor is obviously one of the most talked about fights over in the Marvel Universe, and these two have gone head to head countless times in the comics. But today, we're going to be throwing two of the most powerful versions of the characters at each other. Space Punisher Hulk is going up against Rune King Thor. So who's coming out top here? Well, let's find out. Now, just to be upfront and fair here, we're really not working off a lot of showings. In fact, both of these guys have really only showed up a few times in the entire history of Marvel. However, while Hulk hasn't appeared a whole lot, he does some quite impressive things. And there's one thing in particular that I want to focus in on. When Hulk effortlessly killed 6 Watchers without breaking a sweat. He punched through one Watcher's chest, killed 2 of them by slamming their heads together, and then choked out the remaining 3 with his 4 arms. But just how powerful were these Watchers? Because if they're anything like Yuta the Watcher, well, I guess you could say that Red Hulk was strong enough to absolutely deck Yuta, and Hulk has gone on to regularly show up Red Hulk. However, couple things to that. First off, I don't really count Red Hulk going up against the Watcher as a solid feat, because it's just so inconsistent for both of those characters. I'd put that somewhere more in the realm of Spider-Man beating Firelord, the Herald of Galactus, or Black Panther showing up Silver Surfer, or even the crossover where Batman beat the Hulk. Secondly, we don't even have to worry about that comparison, because these versions of the Watcher are a whole lot more powerful than Yuta. In fact, they were stated to be 6 godly beings in that universe, and were connected to the universe itself. In the story, Space Punisher was attempting to hunt down and kill the 6 Watchers, otherwise known as the 6-fingered hand, and so he went around searching for weapons. Now, Frank already had weapons capable of destroying planets and creating black holes, but Punisher didn't believe that that was going to be enough to take down these Watchers. So in order to kill them, Frank resorted to utilizing the ultimate nullifier, which he believed would have destroyed the entire universe. Only problem is it didn't work, as the Watchers had created the ultimate nullifier as basically one giant joke. Just one of the many tools to confuse and control others. So Hulk runs in there and effortlessly destroyed them. And if you aren't convinced that these Watchers were incredibly powerful, well, after the Hulk killed them, the universe did actually start burning, with riots, invasions, looting, murder, and mayhem. The Watchers were right. They did possess some control over the universe itself, and that power and control died with them when the Hulk sent them to their grave. And because of all this version of the Hulk has been described as the biggest threat to the universe since Galactus. On the other hand, well, this version of Thor is actually powered by 2 different things. The Norse runes, ancient Asgardian runes that give the wielder the power to see the past, see the future, and control the present, essentially granting him the gift of omniscience, and the Odin Force, an ancient magical force handed down to Thor from Odin when he replaced him as King of Asgard. And the Odin Force has previously been used by Odin to do some absolutely crazy things, even being able to do things like create and destroy galaxies. And Thor actually has a larger portion of the Odin Force than Odin himself. In order to do this, he plucked out both of his eyes at the Well of Mimir in order to gain ultimate wisdom, and then went on to hang himself from the World Tree till he's literally in death's grasp in order to gain knowledge of the Norse runes. And it was at this point that, one, he gained access to the magic of the runes and became more or less omniscient, and two, actually evolved past death and managed to escape from the realm of hell, becoming essentially immortal. All of this also gave him a massive strength and durability boost as well. So he was able to effortlessly stop a charging Mangog with just one hand, and Mangog's strikes had absolutely no effect on him. And before Thor went through this process, Mangog was consistently able to absolutely trash the guy. It was even a threat for someone like Odin. He even then went on to use the rune magic to literally erase Mangog from all of existence. With one simple strike, he was able to completely destroy dimensional barriers leading to Valhalla and allow the demon Surtur to just march on through. He instantly teleported Beta Ray Bill to a whole other galaxy and then telepathically communicated with him, and Thor actually wasn't anywhere near Bill when he teleported him. But probably the most impressive Rune King Thor was ever done was ending the cycle of Ragnarok, destroying the World Tree and those who sit above in shadows, all with just one strike. To make this more impressive, the World Tree holds the 9 realms. These realms have actually gone on to be confirmed to be entire dimensions. But just who are those who sit above in shadows? Well, that's kinda more difficult to say, considering they've just appeared a few times in all of comics, but there are several theories about them. We know from the comic that these gods are celestial beings who lived off the great energies generated by the lives of the Norse gods, responsible for Ragnarok and creating, then recreating the Asgardian race over and over again, including beings like Odin, the Midgard serpent, and Fenris the wolf, who he had just earlier seen devour an entire sun. But they were also referred to at another point in the comic as gods of old, implying that they were elder gods. Basically, end of the day, you can argue these are easily high tier, abstract level beings like eternity. This is backed up when we literally saw them merge with the universe. And Thor beat them and destroyed them with just one strike. Rune King Thor even went on to essentially take their place, merging and becoming one with the universe before falling into some sort of Odin sleep. So both of those two heroes have their signature feats. Hulk killing the Watchers, Thor killing those who sit above in shadows. And at the end of the day, I believe Thor taking out those who sit above is more impressive than Hulk killing the Watchers. Here's my reasoning. Those who sit above in shadows were clearly more powerful than the gods of Asgard, and even Odin, seeing as how they were responsible for Ragnarok and creating and recreating the Asgardian race over and over again. Although we know about the Watchers, is that they said that whatever control they held over the universe would go with them to their grave, and they were right. But that could mean they were omnipotent and actually controlling the universe, or it could just be the same as if you went into an unstable country and toppled the government. The country burns while there's a power vacuum, and then suddenly someone comes in and takes over the new role of running the universe. And other than that one comment, which can be read multiple ways, the Watchers were really unimpressive, as they didn't really do anything much. And because of that, gotta give this one to Rune King Thor. He might be able to take out Space Punisher Hulk just the same way they did with Mangog. So yeah, Rune King Thor's coming out on top here. Rune King Thor wins. But what do y'all think? I would love to hear your thoughts. Sound off in the comments down below. Also be sure that like button, subscribe button, and turn on notification from the DanCo army, and I will see y'all next time.